Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through, and today we're going to learn how to say large and small numbers. So, in the previous lessons, we've learned how to write large and small numbers using positive and negative exponents using scientific notation. We've also learned how to write them just as regular numbers, which is called standard notation. But today we're going to learn how, if someone tells you a large number, saying like 5 million, how you can write that in scientific notation, or if they tell you a really small number like 5 millionths. How can you write that in scientific notation? So first let's take a look at a really big number. So this one, we've got 7,000,000,000,000,000,000. So how would we write this in scientific notation? We've already learned that basically you put a decimal at the very end, so right after the very last zero, and then you just bunny hop it across each of the zeros until you end up right after that 7. So you would actually be bunny hopping it 12 times in this, and you would end up with 7 times 10 to the 12th power. What about small numbers? Well, here we've got 11 zeros and then that 7. We've also got that 1 0 before the decimal, but we've just got that 11 after the decimal that we care about. So those 11 zeros, we're going to grab that decimal, we're going to bunny hop it past those 11 zeros, but then we're also going to bunny hop it after that 7. Put it right behind the 7, so we get 7 times 10 to the negative 12. So here the difference between the two, we had a 7 times 10 to the 12th. That was a positive 12. That's a large number. This one's a negative 12. Negative exponents are small numbers. So this one's negative. It's a really, really small number. So we went through and we learned the difference between the big numbers and the small numbers. Big numbers are used with positive exponents, small numbers, negative exponents. Here's a picture of Muggsy Bogues. He was the smallest basketball player in history. So I just thought this was a really good picture to kind of see the difference between big and small. Hopefully put a little image in your head so you can remember. So what are some big numbers? Well, we've gone through, you've used several big numbers throughout your life and regular everyday talk, everything like that. Some of the numbers that you may have used are 100, 1,000, million, billion, trillion, and quadrillion. Most of you probably haven't used quadrillion. I know I don't use it very much, but they even go on beyond that. We've got words for basically every big number that you need. What about some small numbers? Well, these are very similar. We've got hundredths, just with a th at the end. Thousandths, again with a ths at the end. Millionths, just putting a th at the end. Billionths, as you can guess, trillionths, and quadrillionths. Okay, so whenever you're going through and submitting this for the extra credit, the code word that you will use is Purple Monkey Dishwasher. So along with the question at the end, you will also put Purple Monkey Dishwasher. That way I know that you watched the whole video and didn't just skip to the end. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to put some of these numbers in a table. I put more columns in the table than we're going to use today because we're going to go through and build up the rest of that table in lecture tomorrow. But here are some of the words that we've used to describe big numbers. Let's look at the easiest one, the 100. So 100, we write that as 100 in standard notation. Scientific notation, that's going to be 10 to the second power. What about hundredths? Well, here it was 0.01, and you guys would have known that as well. But in scientific notation, because we move that decimal 2 places over to where it's after the 1, becomes 10 to the negative second. Notice the difference between hundredth and hundredths. The only thing that's different is the sign of that 2. One's positive, one's negative. The 2 being the 2 in the exponent. Thousandths, here we've got 3 zeros. So on the 1,000, we've got 1, 0, 0, 0. 3 zeros, so we put a 3 in the exponents, 10 to the third power. The thousandths, same thing except the exponent's negative. Same with million. Here we've got 6 zeros, and the exponent on millionths is negative. The rest we'll fill in class tomorrow. So let's take a look at an example. So an example, write 4 billion in scientific notation. So to do this, I'm going to go through and pull the necessary information, the useful information out of the problem. So first I'm going to go through and find out how many and also what type of number. So the how many is 4 million. I'm looking at 4 million. So how many million? 4. And then what type of number? So how big of a number? Well, the type I'm looking at are millions. The different types could be billions, hundreds, various things like that. In this case, we're looking at million. To put this in scientific notation is pretty simple. All you're going to do is, remember, scientific notation is something times 10 raised to the something. In this case, we're going to put the how many in front, and then the what type in the exponent. So it'll look similar to this. How many times 10 raised to the type. So here are how many is 4, so I'm going to put the 4 in the many spot. And then the what type, that's million. So I'm going to look back at my table. That was here. Million, if you can see, it's raised to the 6th power. So I'm going to put that in. So we had 4 million for the how many, so the many is 4. And what type? Well, that's a 6. We got that from the table. And we'll be constructing that table tomorrow. So it's 4 times 10 to the 6th. So our question, this is going to be the question that you'll be sending to me to show me that you've seen this before, that way you can receive a little bit of your extra credit. The problem is, write 6 millionths in scientific notation. The first thing I would look at is this going to be a big or small number? Remember, how do you tell the difference? Review the video if you need to, and then put in scientific notation using that how many times 10 raised to the what type of number. And again, if you get stuck, feel free to move the video back and view this table. I have millionths in the table as well.